Hello again. Think back again on the lesson on Python strings you just completed. Let's stick to the same topic to explore how the Anaconda Assistant works. First, select the option to launch a notebook. Then, select a kernel to open a new notebook document. Execute George as you hear it. You'll receive a name error message saying that the name George is not defined, meaning that a variable with his name has not been declared yet. In the right panel, just above the chat box, the assistant suggests you start a new conversation. Click Debug the active code cell to proceed. The screen explains our mistake and asks if you'd like to suggest a solution. Type Yes in the box, press Enter, or click the green button on the right. We obtain a solution that shows that the Anaconda Assistant has understood that we did not intend to create a variable called George, but rather that George is a text value, which is why it had been placed within quotes. Additionally, as good practice suggests, this string has been assigned to a variable called name, which indicates its content. Then, by choosing Copy, we can copy the obtained code and paste it into the cell in the Anaconda notebook or elsewhere. But now, we'll select the more intuitive option provided, Run Code in Notebook. By doing this, we created a variable called name, containing the string George. Great! Now, let's see if the generative AI models can help us solve a slightly more complex exercise. Imagine you were coding, locally or online, and while writing in a code cell, wanted to assign the value of 10 to a variable y. And suppose you wanted to print out the text $10 by referring to y. You've written the following code cell, but as you run it, you receive a type error message, which you don't know how to handle. Unless you can spot the mistake yourself, one approach is to copy the last line and paste it into a Google search. This can lead you to the most frequently mentioned solutions on the subject. But if you produce the same error in a notebook and ask for assistance by clicking Debug the active code cell once again, you would obtain a precise explanation stating that in Python, you cannot concatenate variables of different types, such as an integer and a string, in such a scenario. You would also obtain a suggested solution pattern. Once we confirm we'd like to receive the corrected code, which includes the string function, we can run it in our notebook directly. Once again, we quickly obtained a clear explanation of our mistake and a solution. You get the idea. As your programs become more complex, you'll increasingly appreciate the impressive capabilities of this Anaconda tool. The trade-off is that the assistant may not always understand your requests, so you must ask questions about fragments from your code. In other words, you'll need to take a step-by-step approach. Keep learning and practicing Python, and use the assistant as required to do that well. To conclude, please try to retain the principles taught throughout the Anaconda Assistant lectures. Anaconda's AI tool is constantly updated to provide the best solutions and suggestions. Therefore, receiving different outputs from the assistant when running the same commands on your end is natural. To optimize that AI tool, however, ensure you always interact as clearly as possible with its responses. Overall, what do you think? Quite exciting, isn't it? Thanks for watching.